It is in the room. Hello, everyone. I am very, very excited to have today uh, Katherine Plested. She is an amazing, an amazing recreation therapist. She has 10 years of experience working in the therapeutic recreation field. She earned a bachelor degree of recreation and leisure studies at Brock University, specializing in therapeutic and inclusive leisure. She started her career in Halifax, Nova Scotia. She works at Mount Hope Center for Long-Term Care in London as a therapeutic recreation specialist. She is also president of TRO, Therapeutic Recreation Ontario. So welcome, Katherine.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know this interview will be very important for TRs to get to know you and learn from your experience. For me, it's such a gift having you here. A few years ago, when I was living in Brazil and researching about possibilities to put my music and my degree together, I found a video on YouTube that helped me to decide about taking recreation therapy course. This video was recorded at Mount Hope Long-Term Care, and you were in this video doing your inspiring job. And then when I moved here to Sarnia, my first term, you came to class as a guest speaker. I was so thrilled. I said, "Oh my God, that's the recreation therapist of that video." So awesome. And now you're here with me at the end of my course, talking about the profession. So amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Your story is inspiring to me. To know that our video that we once made a few years ago, as we used this at one of our conferences that we did, but really wanting to highlight what therapeutic recreation is and how we, like really what we do, how we bring that alive. And I just think it's so amazing how our paths have met in different ways, and here we are today.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's start talking about your education.
Sure, yeah. So I chose to go to Brock University. I think it's like in 2007, so years ago. I feel like I'm officially an oldie now
Oh,
as an
yeah.
alumni. And so, yeah, I did my 4-year degree in, as you said, therapeutic recreation. That was my specialty, and then I finished my degree with the placement, which is what took me out to Halifax. And so I did my 500 and I think it was 10 hours at the time, practicing out there in rehab. I did set myself up for certification. However, in the end, I actually never ended up writing my exam. I came back to Ontario and I jumped right into work. And truly, as a poor student, I just never wrote it. But instead, I really kind of became passionate for Therapeutic Recreation Ontario and going through their registration process.
There's a noise here. I am too loud.
You sound okay for me.
Okay, okay. Mount Hope hosts 394 residents from 18 to 103 years old. That's correct?
Yeah, right now we have a few less due to us ensuring the safety of our residents just during COVID. So we've had to do a few different room movements, but pre-COVID and typically, yeah, we're almost close to 400 residents. We're 10 floors large. And yeah, as you described in terms of our age range of the residents that we work with, you can only think and imagine of the vast variety of programming that we create in order to meet the people who are younger, as well as those traditional elderly people living in Mount Hope.
Mm-hmm. And how many in the team, Catherine?
How many's on our team?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've actually been really fortunate. We have 10, there's 10 of us. Right now, we actually have an 11th person as they have been redeployed to us, which is phenomenal. But typically, there's 10 of us in general. Right now, we are able to be up on each home area, providing the SOS type of programming. However, prior to this, we really did also have a main focus in a community hub aspect, as community is so important to us at Mount Hope, whether it's community within our long-term care home or whether it's out and connecting with the City of London. And so we've really created kind of like a rec center on our main floor because we are so large, where residents are able to come from all different home areas that come down to this program for similar interests and likes to socialize. However, during COVID at this time, that's had to be put on hold. And as we say, the community hub is closed for now. And that allows that our staff is all up on the home areas.
Good. Could you tell us about the SOS, the smaller island disorder?
Yeah, so that's something that we adopted during COVID. Typically, in general, we always tried to provide at least 4 programs a day and then doing some one-to-ones in between. Due to the different directives that have come out through the government during this time, we are doing shorter, often, and smaller groups. Previously, we always tried to do 8 people or less, really having that quality experience. Now that we've had to make the programs have less people, we need to then have them more frequently. And so in turn, we were trying to have 3 to 4 people in a group. And then, like you said, basically you might have 2 groups back to back of the same topic. So for example, if people are really love traveling around the world and engaging in that conversation, as that's a super hot program for us, we might have those back to back. So that way then still 8 people will be able to enjoy it, but we'll only have 4 in each group. So that's typically kind of how that SOS programming has worked for us.
Mm-hmm. It's been hard and sad for us and for residents. But don't you think, in terms of TR, it brought them more meaningful activities and also pushing us to be more creative to overcome these barriers? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's actually it's an interesting comment and question. This is definitely pushing the envelope for TR. We've actually we're a field or a department in long-term care homes where we're being pulled into many different roles right now. And so we're trying to create a balance between supporting the overall home in different tasks, such as supporting people with pleasurable dining, in addition to still ensuring our psychosocial well-being, right? And trying to make sure we're creating these programs that are meaningful and authentic. I definitely think COVID has really been challenging and pushing us to be more creative. Like, what programs can we be offering now that we can't actually access the community? What programs can we be offering if some residents are no longer able to do groups? So again, another shift that I know many people who've been in long-term care have experienced at different times throughout this season, is then having to do one-to-ones. And so what does a meaningful one-to-one look like? More than a simple conversation. What are we really trying to get at, and what can we use that's purposeful and gain strengths? What relationship can we build in connecting with family? So I think, yeah, the creativity is definitely on mark. I think a lot of us had a lot more energy in our creativity back in the spring, as we were kind of hopeful that this would maybe teeter away, but we're still here. And so I think it's really important that we band together and really share whatever resources you can come up with. I know a lot of people have been accessing the internet for those virtual tours, right? You can go to Buckingham Palace, you can go like walk the China Wall, some pretty remarkable things all around the world, which I know our residents are excited for. A lot of good resources as well from local people, local musicians wanting to share their music for our residents. And for people who are in their room, still trying to have them connect with their family. Virtual visits is a big, big thing right now in long-term care, which, is really amazing too, because we get to now develop a different relationship with family. We may have only seen family before in the evening or the weekend, and if you weren't there, you wouldn't really gain that ability to really connect with them. But now through this virtual visiting and supporting the residents with technology, we're able to gain so much more of an understanding of their life and their family and who they're from. And that definitely has spurred some amazing creativity as well.
Yeah, I'm glad we have technology, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think technology is really like it's stepping up. For years, we have always had kind of a battle being part of a more traditional setting. We brought in virtual reality a few years ago, and there was a little bit of pushback on like what is virtual reality for seniors and in long-term care. However, we really try to push the envelope on how we can use technology. And if anything, this has really sped up the community and the company to jump on board that we need technology no matter how old you are and no matter where you are.
Yeah. And Katherine, what moves you in this profession? What inspires and moves you?
To be honest, I love seeing people's smiles. So the ability to kind of like crack that puzzle and to bring the joy that I feel within myself come out. So that video, it in itself makes me smile again to think about what music does to our soul and what moving does as well. Coming up with new programs is always something that keeps me going. So sometimes we get into the same routine over and over again, and you end up, I find, losing your spark. But really connecting with other people to bounce off ideas and be social really helps ignite that. Getting exciting about a new program always gets your fire going. And when you're excited, they're excited. When you can see a resident really accomplish something new for them for the first time, and it doesn't always need to be something big, but that's always something that also helps keep you motivated and keep you going.
Let's talk about self-care.
Oh, self-care. That's a huge thing right now, Fernanda.
Yeah, I follow you on Instagram, and I know you do a lot of things like walking, exercises, many ways, yoga. You have a cat, right?
I do Crosby. He might pop up. Be aware. He likes the laptop. He likes to come hang out on the laptop. Yeah, self-care is something I find is super important in order to help the people that we work with and really bring our best self, right? And the whole idea of wanting to continue to push to inspire others, you have to take care of yourself and you have to be your best person. For different people, that has various different levels, and sometimes we're the worst. I always call it the disease of the rec therapist, and that sometimes when it comes down to yourself and your reflection, you become tired and you really stop taking care of you. COVID making us stay in our homes except to go to work and buy groceries. Removing us from those social aspects that we once did, being part of a bigger community, being in with people is really important to me. So I know that being part of a community and being social is something I value.
Mm-hmm.
So in turn, I've kind of had to try and figure out like what else What else is there for me? So I started off by like really looking at myself. And so I needed to start becoming physically active. Starting off your day right. You know what? After work, I'm tired and I don't want to be social and I don't want to talk to people. And sometimes I just want to be quiet, right? When we're out, like really trying to be as positive as we can for everyone we work with, we want to be tired or quiet. So I actually choose to do my workouts. I do them in the morning. And again, like it doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be happening, right? Like 30 minutes, that's awesome. So I start my day off well, like right, doing it right from the beginning. I think nutrition and water is super important too. It's something that sometimes we overlook. We get tired, and takeout is really appealing. Um, but I have to say, when you're eating properly and drinking the amount of water you should actually be drinking, you have so much more energy. So, and again, that's bringing your best self. I do. You saw some pictures of my that's my parents' dog named Oliver, and he is precious. He's just over a year, and he is ginormous, and he thinks he's just a puppy, which he is, but he is one large puppy. And so being out on the farm to me, being in nature is really soothing. It really speaks to my soul again. There's something about taking time to unplug, especially now that we're virtual in so many different facets, to just be out with no music, to walk through the farm or find a trail and go for a hike, and just really listen to what's around you. I find that really rejuvenating. Um, Another point of self-care that I think sometimes we forget, it doesn't always have to be big and grandiose. It doesn't have to be this massive activity that takes a lot of time. But sometimes I think even like taking time when you have a shower and taking care of your skin, right? Like take time to pamper your face or put on some really awesome like lotion. That feels nice. We can't all get to a massage therapist anymore, but it still feels good to take care of all aspects of who you are and where you are. And I think lastly, it's like, what can we do on the weekend? Again, another way to unplug. Are you somebody who's crafty, or do you like to dance in the kitchen? Right? I love dancing. And my friends know that. And so now we've started making jokes that I now start posting these videos. And it's just me rocking out. And I think we need to do more rocking out. Like that girl who's driving the car who ends up at the stoplight, and you look over and she's singing. We all should be that way.
Yeah.
Right? Like just let go and have a good time.
For you, what's the most important feature in a recreation therapist?
Say that one more time.
For you, what is the most important feature, characteristic in a recreation therapist?
It's kind of hard to just pick one. I definitely, I think there's a few. I think it's important to be compassionate and patient. We're in the field to really support other people, right? That's like why you got into this field. And so to me, like really listening to your heart and working with people in that sense is important. Another thing, I think it's learning how to be creative and resourceful. No matter what field you're in, there's not a lot of money in a budget. And so it's learning how to be creative and think outside of the box. The resident or the client is there to tell you what they like to do, but it's your job to come up with an adaptation and that modification, how to solve that puzzle to help that resident, really use the strengths they have, to help them again, inspire them and light that fire again that they once had. So I think like that ability to be creative and resourceful, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you need to know like who can you call or where can you go to look up some different resources. And I think you also need to have a level of confidence, the ability to speak, to walk up to anybody, to make them feel comfortable, welcome, and really to get to know who they are. That's important.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
okay to be shy, but you still need the ability to connect with people because
Yeah.
that is our job, right? So if you mix all those things together, I think you'll have a great person to be a rec therapist. Typically, to our energy, um, it kind of bounces off of each other. And when you're excited, they're excited. When you're happy, they're happy. And it's our job to be positive for them, right? Depending on who you're working with, there's lots of background and lots of stories. But when they're with you, you are there to keep them going, especially in this challenging time when they can't see their families. It's really all about us to keep them happy. And everyone, again, happiness is relative, but happy for them, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about troll. Would you
Yeah,
like to talk about it?
sure. I love Tro, and I think more people need to know about Tro.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, Therapeutic Recreation Ontario is our professional association for Ontario. And we have members from in all different populations. But really, what we strive to do is continue to advocate for our profession, whether that's at a government level, which is what we've done a lot of this past fall. We always have been writing letters, and Roz, our executive director, is so amazing at keeping her thumb on the buzz and like the pulse, what's been going on, writing responses and getting us out there. And this past winter, we have been able to really connect directly with different government officials, putting out the word about therapeutic recreation and that we are a required and an essential profession, and that we can really help become a partner. We're there trying to always have our conversation be focused in on being a partnership to a solution. And what can the skill set that we have, how can that help better the different facilities and communities and people we serve? What does that look like? The association really, it's there for our members. We also bring different education to connect with people. We're always looking for volunteers, and it's a really great way for you to also expand your own professional like goals. To be working with people all across Ontario. It's pretty amazing, and something, again, this whole concept of virtual. We're able to have a person who lives way up north, way over on the eastern side, the west, and in the GTA area. So we're a group of all volunteers, and we try to work it in and around our work schedules, connecting. So it's something that I really think people should really kind of like check it out. And again, it's really also important regarding, like I said, our registration, making sure that schools have the right education, that they're connecting with our students. Like yourself, you want to make sure that you're coming out of school well-rounded and somebody that is employable, right? So we're making sure that you have the proper skill set and knowledge, and we have some really great connections with the different schools.
So for students, it's very important to be a member, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's so important too. Like the entire organization is actually, it's based on membership. Like that's how we work, right? And so you can be a member as a student, and then we love that then from a student you become a professional. It gives you your code of ethics. Again, what are the different standards that you're practicing? Without our members, the association really wouldn't happen. And it's so vital to be part of something bigger than yourself, because it's somebody who you can ask questions to and pull on for some information to share with your employer. We're really looking forward to our communities of practice as well. They started a few years ago. And so we're really trying to ramp that back up. And it's the idea of having people who work in the same area of practice. So people who work in mental health come together. People who work in aging can come together. And whether that be a forum where it's just asking questions and connecting. Maybe it's about sharing ideas. It doesn't have to be always so formal, but it's the idea that you have contacts that you can be reaching out to. And then in addition, when TRO has different asks that come, perhaps there's a working group that could formulate. So similarly to our submission for long-term care, that was out of a working group that came together as experts to try and create this document to then provide to the government.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can't believe it. We are at the end.
We're already there.
Yeah, we are already there. So if there's something that I didn't ask you and you would like to share with us, it'd be awesome.
Well, I think you've asked a lot of wonderful questions. It's been wonderful being part of this. I really do hope that through our conversations, you can see that we're all just regular people. COVID is super challenging, and that we have to remember to take care of ourselves to make sure that we are our best person, that you continue to strive and be creative and give that best service possible to the people you serve. And no matter who you serve, whether it's residents in long-term care or clients in mental health, people in the community, we are an awesome profession. And I hope that you continue to inspire and empower the people around you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have no words for you. Thank
Well,
you. You are my idol.
it was really loving meeting you in person. And
Mm,
I'm so excited to be part of your story and your journey, Fernanda.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.